Welcome to your magical moon message. As we complete Libra season with the moon in Leo. And yeah, y'all, this should be quite the fun transit. It's a 11th house of associates, friends, hopes and wishes, and rewards from career. I like to call it the entourage spot because now at this level, bye. At this level, you have the first four individual zodiac signs, the originals, and then you have the socials: Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. All right, so the socials are supers. You have the originals, the first four. Yep. Then you have the supers, the socials. They go outside, and then you have the gods: Sagittarius, Cap, Aqua, Pisces. So yeah, you didn't hear that from me though. So now we have the moon in Leo and the sun in Libra. The socials, if the last four are God level, then the next four from Leo to Scorpio are super level. Think superhero. Think Superman, who needs Leo, the sun, to charge him up. A super level of being. Superman still struggled with gods, right? Like Darkseid, who was a new god. You know what I mean? But, he still boxed with him. Just kind of letting you know the levels. So basically, we have moon in Leo, super social. We have sun in Libra, super social. Okay, that means the quality of this signature is super. And what lends to the super quality of these signs is the integration of the activation of the original power, quality, and magic from the first four signs. It is through repetition, practice, consistency. We master our technique, hence why Virgo was a part of the supers, and their super ability is enhanced synesthesia and analysis. Scorpio and Leo are different versions of super strength. Leo is basically the classic understanding and element of super strength. You have Mars and Leo, you got super strength. Mars and Scorpio, or Scorpio planets, is a much deeper, pure, more intense version, but it ends the super run before we enter the gods. So that's the first thing I want you to keep in mind. This conclusion is wrapping up, of course, the first part of season 3, the breakthrough season, as we tour the socials, aka the supers. And you're coming into a quite literal super strong quality and understanding of where this excitement, awesomeness, and energy that comes from understanding the boldness of expressing your super self, who belongs with you, where do they belong. In other words, you have effectively harvested and completed this expression of your super self. If we're taking that analogy, next year during 2024, we're going to do the second part of this, where we're going to draw on the quality we manifested and then work more on our ideas, our abilities relative to this base. But pretty much, you are effectively highlighting, relative to this character of your super self, where does it belong and with who. As they say, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. So that's why I wanted to make sure I did this outside, just at least walking, because in its most basic level, this is an application of interacting with my social environment. I could have gone to Fremont where there's a lot more people, but I didn't feel like it. So other than that, Aries season helped you understand, relative to Peter Parker, where does Peter Parker belong? All right, versus Spider-Man. Spider-Man probably belongs on the Avengers. You feel me? So Peter Parker has his friends, right? Like if you saw Infinity War or whatever, there was that dude on the bus who helped him turn into Spider-Man. And then you have Spider-Man's friends, where he belongs, like with Doctor Strange, with Iron Man. So we're not really focusing on Peter Parker. We're focusing on your super self, all right? And this is where, once again, the opportunities that are aligned your way and any inspired action, right, that comes inspirationally, not that you're forcing yourself to go out. Some of you are social, you stay outside, but like this is a really great period to take your talents out, get out your comfort zone, but at the same time, not necessarily saying you have to force yourself to just go out. The opportunities will be there, and when they come, don't run away from them. Don't make excuses. Strut your stuff. You may find you're introduced to where you belong, expressing these talents that you've effectively updated and integrated over the past 2.5 weeks. This is also going to really help you understand the swag on stage you have developed performing on stage, and it really puts you in a really great opportunity to gauge your support group, to gauge this for you socialites is really great to work on your following, but less on like how much followers you get and all about the quality of who's supporting you and who is celebrating you, because everything about Leo has much to do with fun, excitement, and passion, but the boldness that comes from expressing your heart. And this is what you'll be able to evoke in feeling towards others who really show up and express this. Remember though, we're in the supers, we're in the socials. So this is going to be, once again, charging that very golden understanding of this balanced output of character expression and development. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is during this lunar phase, Mercury is in Libra, Venus is entering Virgo, Mars is entering Scorpio. We have ended the first phase of these transits, and as they move into the next sign, you're going to see in the news, in the public, in your real life, the stages of this shifting as well. These planets, these personal planets shifting into the next sign do represent in a way a next chapter. So that's why you're starting to see the page turn. That's why you're starting to see new news stories come through that are probably going to take up in increasing intensity as the signs go into the next sign. All right, so if this is a telenovela, it's the next drama coming through. But like, what's also super important about that is the nature of what you're in the position to facilitate relative to this challenge to maintain your authenticity while you are aware of your super self, still playing for the crowd, still adhering to your duty as Spider-Man to, you know, be a hero, be the street level hero if that's what you are. But the challenge of the North Node is to not compromise on everything that makes Peter Parker Peter, to the point where if he loses himself being Spider-Man, he'll no longer be able to be effective as Spider-Man. So just be mindful of that. Don't play to the crowd so much that you lose your originality. As the temptation will be there when you're connecting with people who are celebrating you, don't get so caught up on that you do what you do just for that reaction. All right, still make sure you're not afraid to ruffle some feathers. That's why these people may actually rally around you in the first place. But yeah, with Mercury that's coming into Libra, this is going to really align our brains as this catches up with the sun coming over the South Node. So this is where things are going to like now take you out of the perceptual and now have you start to apply actions. We're taking the receipts Mercury synthesized in Virgo, and now we're out. This is where the I told you so tour really picks up steam. Mars that's like coming out of the South Node is, I'm gonna be honest, this is what I was talking about, road to war. This is just the beginning. You're gonna see huge escalations as it gets more intense and deeper in Scorpio. But what you wanna really keep in mind regardless is the nuance that will reveal how, with limited information, people already kind of pick a side or speak on their opinion. They don't know anything they're talking about. Everything you're going to hear people talking about is what is being regurgitated and fed to them on the news, or their limited perspective of hearsay from their relatives here and there. Don't necessarily assume anyone, as much as they may, even me, has the full information. I'm just giving you a piece of my perspective that you could do with. I'm not going to tell you how to think or believe. So be mindful of people who are trying to pressure you and be like, you need to believe this, you need to believe that. That person does not know shit. As much as they're going to be deeply emotional and swear that they do, they're just deeply emotional and they swear that they do. They only have one piece of the puzzle. Do not get pushed per usual to let society twist your arm to pick a side when there's no side to pick, as far as to just stay vigilant and aware. Most of this shit, as intense and serious as it will look like, really has nothing to do with you. It is 100% a distraction. However, do what you can. If you're in the environment and clearly you have something you can do that. But please just look beyond the illusion. I'm not talking about one news piece in general. This is going to be the flavor of all of them. All right. So before the moon goes into Virgo and we release old habits, now that we have implemented new ones and cracked open the super self, you really want to just, whether you go out in your mind and travel mentally or physically, actively, it's time to get real. That's what that truck says. So like, actively seek out spaces where you're celebrated. And for some of you, that requires getting out your comfort zone, but in an inspired way. Don't feel like, oh, I have to go out and force yourself. Set the intention right now. Set the intention and see the vision of your super self in an environment where it's actively celebrated, and you will just intuitively inspire yourself with action. Oh, I feel like going here. Oh, I feel like going there. Trust that. Instead of forcing yourself to go out and you didn't feel like going out, and now you don't really bring your ace out. Like, you know, even though these are social signs, unless you're actually social, like Scorpio, Libra, it does not necessarily mean that you have to go out, although I would very much so recommend you challenge yourself to. Social seasons are the best time to go out, but not that you have to limit it to that. But yeah, now as far as supernatural ability, Venus is in Virgo now. That's a 9 of Pentacles spot. You would think Venus is more about love. Venus is actually what's going to integrate your heart's body, your heart and its connection to your mind and body, so that this will polish how you actually, sweat the technique or don't sweat the technique, actually express and finesse this. Mercury going into Libra is going to align your brain with exactly what you're going to be expressing. And Mars is going to intensify the power you have polished through Libra. This is what's going to bring into a deeper level, more mastery as you continue to break through, because this is the breakthrough arc. A breakthrough arc is fully pushing you out your comfort zone to ascend, Sagittarius, beyond your past limits. Now that you've evolved too, you're getting ready to come into Scorpio season and see how much more worth it you are, how much more quality you have, of course, leveled up towards. And yeah, this moon in Leo transit is definitely, with the trine of Chiron, going to challenge you out of old vulnerabilities. But because it's also going to be squaring Uranus and Jupiter, this is going to give you, through the clash, of making sure you maintain your self-confidence while still putting yourself out there, to take into account the receptivity of how much more bold and confident and courageous you are, which now with that Uranus-Taurus square will draw in the nature of your physical senses to induce another element of sudden awakening. If you think about the 28-day cycle with the moon Taurus Uranus conjunction, now that it's in Leo, this is 90 degrees. Those seeds you planted relative to those past 28 days, they're breaking through the ground. So you're going to be able to see the quality of this relative to enhanced courage, enhanced confidence, enhanced energy. Make it count. You guys stay blessed. Go where you're celebrated. And until next time.